This is my home. Like, I love Oakland. I am Oakland.
Born and raised right here in Oakland, California. West Oakland. Right here.
I grew up 3 blocks down. I used to play in this park summers after summers, and I seen my community change so much.
We have been dispersed to the hinterlands. We're living under the bridges in Antioch.
I'm homeless in spite of having multiple jobs.
That doesn't give anybody the right to take someone else's property.
Coming up on Mom Time.
This is the house that the mama built.
You came with troops.
This is a lot of firepower and a lot of heavy machinery for an eviction.
You gotta fight for the people you love.
One of the people empowerment movement, we're taking our city back. Y'all are going to notice. Who's out? Mom's out. Who's out? Mom's out.
I've been living in Oakland for going on 15 years now.
When I was here, I just felt like I belonged more than anywhere else I've ever been. Even though I'm not from here, I don't have roots here. So I just couldn't deny it.
We found a beautiful city, a lot of culture, a lot of vibrancy, a lot of flavor, if you will.
It's just one of a kind.
And there's just a lot of like soul here. Like I feel like there's a sense of like humility here.
It's got a good feel. You know, some things you know it when you like it. You like it when you know it.
I love the climate. The best in the world, in the whole planet.
We got it's not too hot, it's not too cold. It's in the center of everything.
It has such a historic culture connected to it, especially like being a black person. Like Oakland has such a connected history with black people.
Oakland has always been, outspoken. The people here.
We speak over 126 languages in Oakland. Me and my friends, we tried to make a list one night, and we got up to 40.
This is a beautiful city, and no one really talks about that.
I love Oakland.
If we contextualize this need for housing, you have to go back to the beginning of this country in the 1600s, where Africans brought here as slaves, living in the most rudimentary shelter for 250 years, generation upon generation. And it inculcates ideas in this country about whether or not black people even deserve to have housing.
The story of homes, of how a people live, is the story of the foundation on which a nation is built.
So when you get to the 60s and the Black Panthers, then of course the idea is we want housing fit for the shelter of human beings. We didn't just want a shack.
A stagnant, seething ghetto of impoverished blacks and Chicanos, surrounded by the white affluence of the Oakland Hills and suburban Alameda County.
We have fought hard to get just some place to live. Now here we are still talking about getting a place to live. The only thing we can do is to begin to organize ourselves for housing.
Who's house? Who's house?
That is why I liked Moms for Housing.
The flame is burning so hard inside of my soul.
I thought if you had 1,000 Moms for Housing, now you got a problem. But we're not ready to put in that fight. If we had, we'd have never let those women be pushed out of that house on Magnolia Street.
Y'all ready? We'll follow you.
Okay,
so come on, everybody. Let's go.
NBC Bay Area's Melissa Colorado shows us this radical response to California's housing crisis.
Samira Kareem and her friend Dominique Walker did not pay a security deposit.
Another property.
Right now at 11, a new twist on our housing crisis. Working moms who are homeless are taking matters into their own hands.
They've moved into a home. The problem is it's not their home.
With the help of activists and community members, homeless mothers took over this vacant house on Monday.
They say they're tired of the homeless crisis in Oakland, and they're tired of the city not doing anything about it.
Yep, we going in. Moms for Housing. So let's start with the furniture.
We have a big load coming in, a big futon.
We have a lot of potential. Beats a shelter, right?
Most definitely beats a shelter.
Beats a shelter, beats a tent, and beats sleeping in a car, right?
Can we mic you up? A U-Haul truck means new neighbors are moving into this 3-bedroom house on Magnolia Street in West Oakland.
Oh, look down. How does it feel? Feels good. Feels good to be a part of something that's happening like this, especially in my situation.
You don't like chocolate? It's my favorite.
I was a tennis coach. I was taking the kids out to eat after tennis matches. So I was like, you're not homeless. You got a car, you got this, you got earrings. They didn't believe it until the Moms for Housing. We was like sleeping here, there. We slept in our cars before. I slept out. The kids was like mad. We was homeless then. Now it's 2017. The first night we came out, we got robbed. Put it down.
I think I did find out on Instagram and Twitter, but she didn't tell me nothing.
What'd you think when you first saw it?
I was just like, the revolution is about to start. I know. So just knowing her and that she don't back down, she's kind of like, she's a Taurus, so you know.
Like tennis had just finished. We won the championship in the tennis. We placed third. Devin and Ariana went to finals. And so I was on the high. You know, so it was like, just take it to the next. Like, I'm not going back low. Like, that lowness is not good. So I had to keep building. So I was like, oh, yeah, let's go. What's the next thing?
Housing is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. Housing is a human right. Fight.
Oakland doesn't have a housing crisis. It's a moral crisis. It's a profiteering crisis. It's a speculators in my hood crisis. We should all be outraged. We have become so desensitized to people, children, living on the streets. Housing is a human right, and today I'm using that right. My family has been here since the 1940s. My great-grandmother and great-grandfather bought a house in East Oakland and is still in our family. After high school, I went to Mississippi for school. Kind of stayed out there, and what I came back to wasn't what I left. Not able to live here, can't afford to live here. I work full-time, have a degree, still cannot afford to live here where I'm from. We were like sleeping in a hotel, so different hotels. It was horrible. We deserve to be here. I deserve to be here. I deserve to raise my children here. This is my home. Like, I love Oakland. I am Oakland.
That's what's up. All right, now let's get back to work.
What do you need to switch for? Born and raised right here in Oakland, California. West Oakland. Right here. If you come out and talk to people, you'll see that there's different levels of homelessness. It's not just someone that looks dirty or doesn't have a job. It comes in different forms. People are still amazed, like, Missy, you were homeless all that time, sleeping on a couch bed with my 3 daughters. Literally, getting up every day, back hurting, going to work at Tesla, Macy's, all of these jobs, and still keeping a sane mind and a smile on my face like there's a tomorrow. Because I had my kids to look for. In 2006, I was shot multiple times with an AK-47 at the intersection of 28th and San Pablo, riding my bike with a childhood friend. After the shooting happened, I experienced homelessness because I was out of a job for a while. I was trying to get back on my feet. I couldn't maintain the rent. They told me that I wouldn't have any kids, and then I conceived Destiny, and that's the reason why her name is Destiny, because she was just destined to be here. I think that was the turning point for me. I had just been shot, and it was just like a fire that just grew in me.
But we need thousands of people to show up to the next court date.
I don't know where it came from, but I believe it was birthed from then, from me being able to not speak.
So we gotta make this movement. You see how it's bringing people out and it's bringing us together? They don't like this. Right. This causing too much attention. These little old women. These little old women.
And so when I was able to speak, I never stopped speaking.
I know my emotions are completely irrelevant, but I will say that just looking at the faces of these mothers is making it really hard.
I'm employed as a director of an Oakland nonprofit.
You see, we got a rowdy bunch, don't we?
But I overall would consider myself a servant of the people.
We going to win, y'all.
Housing is the foundation upon which every other building block that's necessary for human development is based. You can't have a decent educational outcome if your living situation is unstable. You can't have good health if you don't have a place to rest. It's an issue of life and death. And because it falls in Oakland along racial lines where 70% of the people living on the streets are African Americans, it challenges the very foundation of who we say we are in this country.
What started this particular experience was when so many people that I had relationships with came to me saying, hey, do you have any resources? Do you know of anything that's available? I can't keep saying no. What are we gonna do? So I got everybody together and was like, hey, y'all, listen, let's do something, let's plan. And, you know, things happen. What we're doing is uplifting the courage of these mothers.
We come across vacant homes on a daily basis when we're organizing. Oh, there's an empty space, there's an empty space, there's an empty space.
We are Mothers for Housing. We plan to take and occupy vacant houses from speculators that are just sitting vacant. We believe that families sleeping on the street deserve to be there. Our end goal is to own the home, to purchase it from the speculator and put it into a community land trust so it'll always be affordable for folks to combat displacement in Oakland.
And I just prayed on it and was like, if I'm going to do it, I got to go all the way with it.
Do you worry about your safety in all of this? There's no telling how the city's going to react, how the police are going to react to this.
No, I don't have any worries about how the police will respond. I will say that I and we have thought through these things and are prepared for whatever can happen. And I'm willing to take that risk.
I grew up being homeless. It's sad that we live in a state where it's comfortable and people close their eyes to children sleeping on the streets. And today is a real big action of how that change is gonna look like. It's about to be raining. It's about to be cold outside. It's sad, and nobody should have to live like that. Nobody.
They don't need sheds. They don't need their cars. They need homes. My name is Kat Brooks. I'm a District 3 resident. I purchased my house as a single mother when my daughter was 4 years old, just a couple of blocks that way. Hold on to your pants, for $149,000. It is an absolute travesty that is no longer an option, that they cannot afford housing in the city of Oakland, that they cannot afford housing in the birthplace of the Black Panther Party.
I'm an organizer and activist in the city of Oakland.
If you're staying out here, take care of yourselves and take care of each other.
I'm also the co-host of a radio show on KPFA.
7:08 just about in the morning here on Upfront. I'm Kat Brooks.
I'm an artist, I'm an actress and a playwright. I was the runner-up in the 2018 mayoral election.
Coming in at number 2, community organizer Kat Brooks.
That might be it, maybe. Thought it was important that folks from the community and visible people from the community were there from jump to show that there's backing for these moms.
People are fed up and frustrated with what's happening in Oakland with housing and homelessness.
Seeing one of your neighbors, one of your fellow human beings sleeping on the street, seeing families living in a car or our elders going to bed at night on a sidewalk is soul-scathing. And since I've been the mayor, I have just seen these numbers grow in a way that I've never seen it. The increase is attributed solely to the rising cost of living and our inability to produce enough units to meet the needs, particularly for our low-wage workers. Oakland has lost so many of its beautiful families. Its very diversity, its secret sauce has been challenged by this housing crisis.
The boys would get out here playing football up and down the street. Girls would be doing drill team in the street. When I was younger, I was like just always thought that this was gonna be a black neighborhood, it was gonna stay black, it was gonna grow black, and it was just be black. But the times have changed, and we weren't taught this stuff in school. Like I said, we didn't have any preparation for gentrification. I feel proud to be like, yeah, my family, like one of the last Black families on this particular block here. I think I went in there one time, not as much as the other houses. And the Hardys lived here. Oh, the Hardy family had to go because the property was sold.
I should give y'all a... Remember this one? Well, I moved in at the end of 1971. I could probably walk around with my eyes closed and not bump into something. And family is here. You know, my daughter lives downstairs, and my granddaughter lives downstairs. My son lives next door. So it's family, it's support. A lot of the people on the block I've known for 40 years. If I think about it too much, I feel almost paralyzed. It's just overwhelming. Even doing this, it was overwhelming to me. But I felt like I needed to do it because I'm not, like I said, I'm not the only family that's in this predicament.
You've got your living room here, your dining room here.
Was this all pretty recently redone in here?
Yes, just last month we finished at the end of it. Closet and another storage space here, and then your full room.
Got it. And when did the tenants in this area, in the other units move in?
So our seller purchased the home with tenants in it, and he got them out, and then he started the remodel.
We're just gonna wait until the press conference.
Okay.
She's like literally still working on her
No
speech
problem.
on her phone.
Oh, okay, no problem. It was probably a call from the assignment desk. Hey, so we want you to check out this story happening in West Oakland. There's these moms that are taking over a house. They're squatting. 2928 Magnolia Street. So the house was a formerly foreclosed home that was purchased by Wedgwood LLC. It's based out of Redondo Beach. You go on their website and honestly, it's just nice photos, nice generic photos of properties.
What is on a legal basis, what is your argument for the right to occupy the home?
That housing is a human right. I was like, of course it's Wedgwood. Their brand is, we make money for your investment, right? So like, not destroying the fabric of the community in Oakland is really irrelevant. I thought they would try and make it go away quickly and sell it, because that's what they do, right? They don't keep properties, they sell them. Well, they evict people and then they sell them. When the government's not paying attention, you have to use civil disobedience. If we've got vacant homes, we're gonna take them over if you just sit there and have them there and you've got all these people who are homeless.
Us little Black girls was able to take on the corporation. That spoke volumes.
How can I stop to fight someone who's bigger than me, who has more money than me? Well, this is how you do it. This is the way to go.
You have a screwdriver? Hi.
And it has been a night of celebration for two moms who are living in this house for the first time tonight. A housewarming party with holiday lights and food.
I never thought we were going to get maybe more than a day in that house.
There's so much anxiety on day one. So then it became just like peeking out the window, like, are they coming? Are the police coming? When are they gonna come?
The next door neighbor, who did not want to go on camera, said he dialed 911 to report the trespassers.
So I'm trying to figure out what all of this, trying to bum rush a house like you're gonna just take it.
These moms don't plan on moving anytime soon. They plan to organize and fight against homelessness in Oakland. Now, we called the corporation who owns this home several times and they did not return our calls.
Then a couple of weeks later, lo and behold, we got an email from Sam Singer.
So says Sam Singer, public relations expert.
High-profile public relations expert Sam Singer.
If you cover Bay Area news, you'll run into Sam Singer some way, somehow. Sam Singer is the guy you hire when you have a crisis on your hands.
Right. Everybody deserves to have their story told, and told clearly with sympathy and from their viewpoint. I read the Moms for Housing activist story, and a couple days later I got a phone call from Wedgwood asking for assistance and help. Wedgwood comes and improves neighborhoods. They take homes that are distressed that no longer meet city codes, and it spends its own money, fixes them, and sells them to other folks. I thought this was going to be a very difficult battle. This is a political activist group that's very sympathetic.
Moms for Housing, we're gonna fight, and we're not going nowhere.
These people may be homeless, but they also broke into this house and took someone else's property, and that's not right.
So Mom's story took us down the rabbit hole of looking at single-family homes that are owned by corporations in the Bay Area. Our investigation started by looking at the owner of the Mom's house, 2928 Magnolia. So we found that Catamount Properties 2018 LLC was the owner there, and when you find one of those LLCs, it brings you to another LLC, right? It's a sort of yarn that you're untangling as you work through those records. Duke Partners, Eagle Vista Equities, Granite Ranch Opportunities, and then at the end of the day, Champery Duke, Champery Multifamily, Champery Property Fund. They had about 125 properties in the Bay Area that they owned. It was 33 in Alameda, 26 in Santa Clara, 21 in Contra Costa. In our subsequent reporting, we found that they own at least 1,500 properties across the country. They're operating in 28 states that we know of, 540 properties in California alone.
Corporations are masters at this shell game. And your research showed that there were, over 100 LLCs that were ultimately connected. And in order for us to pass good policy to make sure that these corporations are responsible, we need to know who they are and how they operate. Housing has become a commodity. With all of the corporations who are buying up foreclosed homes, there's a lot of profit being made.
A few days ago, we received an eviction notice.
The battle lines are being drawn. We're going to enforce this eviction.
I don't know if the sheriff even wants to come tonight. No, you don't. We're not leaving without a fight.